So here in Taranaki, when the wars break out in 1860, there's also wars in the north as well. And a guy comes in by the name of Sir George Grey. He'd been here about 15 years. And the notion of British sovereignty over top of Māori came in with George Grey. He was sent here to exercise that. I call him a monster. And his name is everywhere up and down this country. But Sir George Grey made up a rule that said if anyone has fought against us, we have the right to confiscate your land. Mm-hmm. So in 1865, he confiscated 1.3 million acres of Taranaki, which included our sacred mountain. Now, for those of you who haven't been here, our mountain is a huge triangular cone all by itself. It's stunning. But that happened in 1865, and since that day, our people have tried to fight and get it back. We got it given back, I think it was in 1988, or I might have that date wrong. We were given it back for 24 hours on the premise that we gave it back to the nation. So it's almost like a, I don't want to use, was it really given back to us? No, it wasn't. Yeah. But anyway, all that to say is that 1 month ago, the government finally gave it back to us, where a guy called Captain Cook named it Mount Egmont, and it's carried that name from Lord Egmont, who never came here. That name has finally been cut off, and it's now got its original name, which is Taranaki Maunga, Mount Taranaki, who is the name of one of our eponymous ancestors of this region. That sign of that land coming, of the mountain coming back to us, is a sign of what we would call maungaro, which is one of our words for peace, which translated means the mountain of listening. What we're seeing in our day from this place that has known war, right, 1.3 million acres taken, the promise of 500,000 acres coming back, we only have 24,000 acres. Get there right now. We manage another 50, but when you think about what 1.3 was taken, it's not a great story. But with the return of our mountain, we're living in a day where our prophets said, wait for te haiata, wait for the piercing, the opening, and you'll see great change beginning to emerge. And we're actually living in those days, where our mountains come back to us, and we're seeing peace. And what peace looks like is that little by little, Pākehā, European New Zealanders, are beginning to learn what we've been saying for the last 180 years, 160 years. And we're beginning to see your general New Zealander wake up to an understanding that of things Māori are not, here's the English civilized, here's the Māori savages. That's all. That narrative is being destroyed. And with our mountain coming back to us, it is a powerful thing. Last week we had the Māori, what we call it the Māori Olympics, where a great kapahaka festival of traditional indigenous dance. We've had a big struggle in our last year with the current government, bringing in a lot of what we call anti-Māori policies and stuff like this. And I expected that Māori from around the country would come into our region and just go, "Whoa, stuff you government," and all this sort of stuff. In other words, be quite antagonist, because there's a good reason for it. That happened in a very minuscule way. Didn't let the government off the hook, but all of the songs spoke of the peace of Taranaki, spoke of the prophets of Paihaka, spoke of that this place is a place that's supposed to be called what we've nicknamed the province of peace, a place where peace exists and where peace emerges. And I think we're living in a generation where we're starting to see it.
Awesome.